Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Steph from the Hot Moving Podcast. This Marcellus Wiley, Stephen A. Smith back and forth is getting ridiculous now. And look, the biggest winner out of all this at the end of the day is going to be Max Kellerman. He's been quiet. He hasn't really said much on his socials. His last tweet was he was talking about the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fight. So Marcellus Wiley decides to have another response at Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith was on the Breakfast Club, and he was pretty much saying that Marcellus Wiley, for another black man to question another black man's intelligence was just like uncalled for. So Stephen A. Smith pulled the race card when it's applicable, because Marcellus Wiley is putting a lot of heat on Stephen A. Smith, right? So Marcellus Wiley, pretty much his response is like, look, just because you're black doesn't mean that I should not be allowed to critique you. And Marcellus Wiley said race had nothing to do with it. It was the fact that you don't like working with Max Kellerman because you felt threatened by his intelligence, X, Y, and Z. And honestly, there could be a lot of truth to that, right? Will we ever truly know? Will Stephen A. Smith really ever truly let us know why he let Max go outside of I just didn't like working with him, right? I just didn't like the whatever. What he said in the past, like he just didn't think the ratings was good for the show, whatever. I mean, when Max Kellerman got fired, I'm not gonna lie, at the time it was very, very abrupt. I didn't think the show was horrible. I didn't think Max Kellerman was horrible at all. I thought Max Kellerman was very smart. He brought his own insight, and I know Stephen A. Smith talked about, when he's brought this up, he's like, well, Max wasn't a journalist. Well, there's plenty of people on TV who aren't journalists and do a great job, right? So I think we're past this now. Stephen A. Smith, he made a critical error in bringing this back up on the Breakfast. I mean, not the Breakfast Club, but on the Joe Budden podcast. I know he just asked a question, but there's a lot of people that support Max Kellerman and that don't like Stephen A. Smith as well. So they're gonna use this against Stephen A. Smith, right? And I think at this point, and for him to go to Breakfast Club and to talk about this, whether he was asked a question or not, I've seen the clip. I didn't know how the question was posed or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's like, Max Kellerman's name is just keep floating out there nonstop, right? Max Kellerman hasn't said anything. Okay, Max Kellerman's name got brought back up. When Stephen was on the Joe Budden podcast, right? And then T.O. retweeted the clip of him on ESPN saying that Max Kellerman is blacker than you, right? Stephen A. Smith can't win the Max Kellerman situation. Honestly, you know what? For this all to go away, or to make Stephen A. Smith look good, if he even cares, is to somehow get Max Kellerman back on First Take. Now would Max Kellerman want to? No, I think Max Kellerman low-key probably feels stabbed in the back by Stephen A. Smith. Probably felt blindsided about the firing, or him being removed from First Take, because Stephen A. Smith didn't fire him from ESPN. Eventually, ESPN was doing the layoff. So, but bringing Max Kellerman back would be cool. You know what I'm saying? But Stephen A. Smith has made himself public enemy number one in this whole situation dealing with Max Kellerman, right? And all the while, Max Kellerman has been quiet, minding his own business, might be cooking up something big. You know what I'm saying? I know this is not the last time we'll see Max Kellerman. I'm sure he's probably been given a lot of opportunities, and just probably looking and sourcing and just taking time, spending time with his family, whatever it is. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's really not fair that these two guys are going back and forth with it. I mean, I definitely agree with Marcellus Wiley way more than I do with Stephen A. Smith on the situation, but I feel like at this point, Max Kellerman's name is just being talked about to pit people against Stephen A. Smith. And I'm not really trying to defend Stephen A. Smith. I understand that, but it's just kind of like for the sake of Max Kellerman, though, right? It's like you're using Max Kellerman's name to take your shots at Stephen A. Smith. And even Marcellus Wiley has said it in his video, like he's not best friends with Max Kellerman. Okay, then, if you're not best friends, but you're using Max Kellerman to make a point, you know what I'm saying, about Stephen A. Smith, and for what? The destruction of Stephen A. Smith is going to bring Marcellus Wiley what joy? And I like Marcellus Wiley. I really do. But I'm also, like, I'm going to be objective about it. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I really care, or the only person that I feel like is being unfairly treated on this, and he hasn't said a word about any of this, is Max Kellerman, man. And I just think it's messed up how Max Kellerman, his name is just being tossed out there. You know what I'm saying? Nonstop. Stephen A. Smith had every opportunity to not talk about it. Marcellus Wiley wants to keep bringing it up. We understand that the firing was kind of odd, was suspect. And Stephen A. Smith's answers, and Stephen A. Smith kind of, flexes his muscles, and I'm the producer, I wasn't feeling chemistry, and it was either me or Max, you know what I'm saying? Just, okay, man, all right, we got it. You run whatever you run at first take. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? Marcellus Wiley, man, I appreciate you trying to defend your boy Max Kellerman. At the same time, let it go. But Max Kellerman's name is just continue to be dragged out there left and right. And is this back and forth beef? Is this possibly going to mess up any future opportunities for him? You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing all this chirping back and forth about Max Kellerman, and it could possibly, it hasn't stagnated his opportunities to be somewhere else, right? Not thinking about this, and they want to bring up the race card. You got two black men going at it over a white guy, Max Kellerman. Leave Max alone. You know what I'm saying? Let it go. But if you want to keep this debate going on for clicks, this back and forth, so be it. Anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think with all this nonsense with Marcellus Wiley and Stephen A. Smith about Max Kellerman. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.